like we won and lost, but at least we won some. Like we got W's mixed in there with the painful last second, last ditch losses that come with the stupid game. But here we are, week one, baby, in the books.
Why do we play this again? Like losing is what it is. Like I'm always quick to say I do not enjoy winning so much as I
Right.
hate
Hate
losing.
losing, one hundred
But
percent.
you play this game, you're gonna lose. I'm running in 7 leagues. You're not gonna win every week in every league.
It's a
That
lot of
just is what
leagues,
it
B.
is.
Right.
Losing on the final play of the game before that idiotic field goal is just particularly infuriating, though. Like, had they gone for it and the drive kept going, they score a touchdown, they kick a field goal as time
Yeah,
expires, whatever. I'm like, all right, the game's the game. But losing like that
losing
before
like
the
that is
coach does
worse.
that, that's just infuriating. That's just
Losing like that's the worst.
infuriating.
Right.
But the game's the game. It is what it is. We here. We took a
We're
little
here,
break
man.
because we had, drafts and shit. We had the draft.
Yeah, yo, we did.
Last week
We
was
did.
busy. It was business.
We did, man. We had a lot of
Business.
we had a lot of drafts. We had a lot of teams to put together, a lot of things to navigate, and we are here to help you navigate through week one. Let you get all it, put it all behind you. Nothing you can do about it now.
So
It's
the
on.
the work you do after the draft is every bit, if not more important than the work that you do before the
One
draft.
hundred
You can
percent.
draft a good
One hundred
team
percent.
and not go anywhere. You can draft a bad team and make it work if you're on top of things. We are trying to get you on top of things.
That's all it is. We're gonna go through each position, see what we saw. Obviously, we'll touch on the great. We'll touch more on the bad, just to make sure you're not overreacting. Getting a couple little waiver tips, not
But
give too much of
but
the
s-
game
but
away.
some but sometimes you need to overreact because some things it's like, okay, what
Sometimes,
I saw this
yes,
weekend, it's hard to ignore. Like you can go in with your
it is.
preconceived notions, but you can't be so set in your preseason thoughts that you are unable to pivot when necessary.
Yes, yes, 100%. So we are here, man. Let's. I mean, we can just hop right in. We can hop right in. Quarterback position this week was very. Meh, it was basically what I thought it would be. Josh is amazing.
It was I could what yes and
Josh is
no.
amazing.
At the top, yes.
Pat is amazing.
Yes,
Herbert
he
looked
is.
great.
Pat,
Lamar looked
yeah, look,
wonderful.
but Pat's
Pat
always
looked.
amazing, but Pat looked like fantasy Pat again. There's a difference. Like last year, he was
Pat
good.
looked
Like
like
real life,
he
he was
hates
great.
everybody.
But by
Yeah, yeah.
but
Pat looks like
let's
he
not
hates
leave one
everything.
more out. The third in
Lamar,
the
man.
top three. No, I Lamar is who I had fourth. Justin Herbert looked the part. We
Oh,
got to give him
oh,
credit as well,
yeah.
especially
Oh, yeah.
playing a large chunk of that game without Keenan Allen. Justin Herbert looks the part of superstar. Like this
Yeah.
is if he wasn't considered a star before, like a true superstar QB before this year, by
He's showing it.
Thanksgiving
It's
that's going to
time.
be done. Yeah, like
It's time. It's
he
time.
looks the
And
part.
that defense, and that defense looked really good against a good Raiders team. Like obviously, we'll get the wide receivers and we'll get the Adams there. Carr looked okay. 17 targets for Devontae. I did not see that target share being so devastating early. Um, as far as what
Devontae's going
Carr
to
is
be
going to do for the
Devontae.
year.
Like the top. So, and there are things that I misread that I can admit that hey, I was off on this. I still
Hmm.
love Gabe Davis, but I was off on Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is going to have
We'll
a.
get there.
My
We're
whole
gonna
thing
get
was,
there.
what's his if he's a 1,400 guy, but the touchdowns come down a bit, like what's that look like? That's kind of where my premise was. Obviously, that's not a
Hmm.
bad season by any stretch. But no, 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 no. 1,400 yards, that's not going to be what it is.
Mm-mm.
It's going to be more
Mm-mm.
like 15,
15, 16.
1,600.
Yep.
Yeah,
12
so
TDs. It's going to get very, very
at
interesting
which
there in
point,
Buffalo.
I think that the top five this was going in where you had Jefferson and Cup and Adams and Diggs and Chase. All five of them looked amazing this weekend. All five of them looked like they were worth whatever draft capital you spent to get them.
Right.
Like they're going to be your number one wide receiver. You can plug them in. You don't got to think twice about it. You're not going to have to think twice about it so long as they're healthy.
Yep.
That was good to see. It's good to
It
see
was.
that okay, some things make sense and other things just didn't make sense this week.
A lot of things don't make it's very yeah, yeah, it's very cool having three of those guys on one team. That's very exciting. At least I have that. So locking in on QB, looking at Josh, Pat, Herbert were our top three. We had Josh in his own tier. We had, and then I had Herbert in his
I
own
no
tier.
longer
Then I
feel
got
that
Pat.
way. I
Is
I
Pat
no longer
is
feel that
Pat
way.
like this? That top tier is two
Look,
guys,
look.
man. That
I
top tier
saw
is
I
now
saw
two
what I
guys,
needed
but
to
that's
see.
Pat.
You could be like, "Hey B, you're overreacting to 1 week." I don't care. I don't care. I saw Pat look like Pat. Like I saw him look like that dude again. Like the
He
aura,
did.
it's like that aura around Pat was knocked out in that Super Bowl, even though he played amazingly well with absolutely no help in that Super Bowl. There was a certain level of aura around him that seemed to just not be there last year.
Right.
It's back. By about midway through the second quarter yesterday, it was like, oh yeah, Pat is in fact still that dude. He's tired of hearing about how it's Josh Allen's league now, or maybe he's just pissed off that they lost the way they did to Cincy last year. But he looks like a man on a mission.
Yeah.
So yeah, that top tier,
And
that's two
it,
players now. That's two
it
players in
is.
that top tier.
It is. And then Herbert for me is still like Herbert just looks so good. Lamar played the Jets. Lamar looked great. He started off slow. I just feel like the way they're going to run that San Diego offense, Herbert's going to throw 35, 40 times a game. And if he throws that much with that volume,
I
now losing Keenan is going to be interesting. But I feel like I was high on Gerald Everett coming into the year. I think he's going to
so,
step in.
so the thing about
He'll
the thing about losing Keenan is it doesn't sound like it's going to be more than 2 games if it is 2 games. It's
right.
obviously
That's fine.
unlikely that he's going to play given that they play Thursday.
Thursday night. Yeah.
10-day rest. Given his age, I probably would lean towards sitting him a full 2 games. He's not the youngest guy anymore. He's still plenty productive. He looked great before he got hurt yesterday.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd probably lean towards 2 games, but it does not sound like it's going to linger and be anything longer than that. So, in the grand scheme of things, I am not particularly concerned. If you have Justin Herbert as your starter, you're not thinking about streaming somebody because Keenan got hurt the other
You're not
night.
worried about it.
Like you did when Keenan got hurt the other night.
Right. Um, Kyler, if we're going down the line, Kyler, they were in a blowout. First game of the year. I don't worry too much about it. It's just he didn't look wonderful.
So, as somebody with Kyler stock, as you know, and as somebody who was high on him, I feel worse about him this morning than I did on Sunday morning before the game started. Um, the Cardinals' defense is bad. Like I
They're
wasn't
really bad.
expecting it to be quite that bad. I didn't expect them to be good, but they were atrocious. Like they were really, really bad. Kyler in the first half, he looked flat out bad, and very true. Like he's missing DeAndre Hopkins. I get
Yeah,
that,
D Hop.
but last I checked, they just paid him a boatload of money. They
They did.
brought in his college teammate to help.
They did.
He still has Ertz. He still has James Conner, who is a very capable running back as far as receiving the ball. I like
No
Rondale
Rondale Moore
Moore. I don't know
either.
why they aren't.
He was hurt. He was out.
True,
He
true,
didn't
true,
play
true,
either.
true, 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 true,
So
true, true, true.
so
Fair enough.
which
Fair
matters to
enough.
me.
Fair
Which
enough. The
matters to
weapons
me too.
thing.
That's why I'm not terribly worried about Kyler. Rondale Moore is a bigger part of the offense as it works than him fantasy wise. He knows where to be in that offense. He knows how to
Absolutely.
get open. He knows how to get there.
Absolutely.
Things like that matter when you bring in new guys
Especially
who
with Christian
want
Kirk gone, Rondell Moore is going to do
one
a large part of filling that role. So
right.
but here's the other thing with Kyler. Because that defense is going to be what I think is going to be really bad based on Sunday. And I don't want to, they're playing without JJ. I get it, but they did not look good. They
They
just
didn't
did
look good at
not
all.
look like a defense that's going to be competitive. if that's the case, there's going to be a lot of blowouts and there's going to be a lot of garbage time. So in theory, Kyler should still put up his numbers. I think he looks like a better fantasy quarterback than actual quarterback.
Right,
Take that however you
right.
please.
Yeah. A couple more good things we saw. Kirk Cousins is going to get the ball to Justin as he should, and he's going to be productive that way.
As he should.
Um,
As he
Derek
absolutely
Carr is going
should.
to get the
Yeah.
ball to Devontae. He'll be productive. He'll be fine. Um, Davis Mills, man, like I said, Davis Mills didn't look.
He's gonna be solid. He's gonna be
I don't
solid.
think he's
So
garbage. I think he'll be
I got what?
fine.
I got one that I'm really thinking about. How do we feel about Jared Goff based on this weekend?
I did the same way I always felt about them. They're going to be down. They're going to get close. They like to run in close. Jamal
I'm
Williams with two
asking
rushing
I'm asking
touchdowns.
from a no, absolutely, but if you need a streaming option, if you
He's
happen to be
fine.
dealing with the Dak injury and you're
Yeah,
looking at
I
what
think he'll
is
be
available
fine.
on waivers, like
I think he'll
I'm
be
not saying
fine.
he'd be your best option, but it's something to look at. Like
I would rather Goff than Mariota.
he ain't the worst. I mean, he ain't good. Don't get me wrong, he's good, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
based on
give
this
me Goff.
weekend, yes, but I like
Yep.
Mariota's upside. I like the running upside. I like the running
Okay.
upside.
I'd rather Goff. Would you rather Goff than Daniel Jones if you're streaming?
Me, yes.
Okay.
I'm not in on Jones. Like, here's the thing. I think Jones has higher upside on a week to week basis. Absolutely. But something, I guess this is true of golf too. Something about playing a quarterback when they do bad or stupid things is just particularly annoying. I think that golf is ever so slightly safer, but we're talking
Okay.
about Jared Goff. Like, I'm just talking about people who surprised this weekend and look competent. Top of the list, he did not look competent at times, and at other times he looked like a superstar, and I don't know what to make of it. A guy that I mentioned towards the end of the summer, I was feeling a little bit better about. What do you make of Wentz? Because the numbers, we're here to
Numbers look
account.
healthy.
We're just accountants. The numbers looked, yeah, but I'm here in this area. I watched the game surrounded by fans of the
Hmm.
Commendatories, and Wentz at times looked really good, and at times he looked like the worst quarterback in existence. And I don't know how you reconcile those two things at the same time.
My feeling with Carson Wentz is simple. Um, I didn't expect this
But the
much volume out
numbers
of
were
him.
intriguing.
I didn't expect this much volume out of him. I didn't think that they would come out and throw this much. And if they do, the way this Dotson rookie looks, things start to open up interesting. Dotson looked really good. Um, if Logan Thomas is healthy, obviously they got McKissick and Gibson who
The
can
wide
both
receiver
catch the
core looked
ball.
good,
Curtis Samuel's out there. Like he has guys to throw the ball to. And I think their
but
game
he still
script is going to
sucks. So
call
what do you
for
do?
him. Be- All that matters is the numbers. We think Goff sucks. We think Daniel Jones sucks. If you throw touchdowns and you get yards, that's all that matters to us. I think Wentz is at the top of that list of guys who you want there because of the volume there. I think they're just going to
Yeah,
throw a
I
whole
mean,
lot.
I might have. I was a bit out of pocket when we did both predictions, and I said Carson Wentz is going to be a better fantasy QB than Aaron Rodgers. Like that was out of pocket. But then I
Eh,
watched the first week, and I'm like,
eh, eh.
was it
If
really
you
crazy? Was it really bold? Was it genius? Am I a genius? Maybe, maybe not.
it's week one overreactions
And I'm not gonna.
have us here.
Not,
But here's what I'll say though. Before we get to like I have a borderline good bad. So
the
so so
Rodgers
so
Wentz dudes. Like, when can we be negative?
yeah, now and let's start with Joe Burrow. Um Joe Burrow, okay, T Higgins is down, but you have enough guys on there. Joe Burrow looked really bad. He looked bad. Bad throws, forcing it. He's
He
not
did,
running the ball well.
but the entire look disjointed. I am personally willing to, if after week two they look bad because they're going to be playing a terrible football team next weekend. If after week two they look bad, I am going to reconsider everything I thought about the Bengals. But post Super Bowl, first game, I am willing to not ignore it, but to at least say, all right, I'm not going to make any grand proclamations about any of these guys. End of the day, if they can hit an extra point, they win. At which point we'd be saying, oh, you know what? They played really badly, but they showed the grit and the heart and the blah 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 blah. And we'd be applauding the fact that they didn't quit and they fought back, and that
Right.
Burrow completed that pass to Chase. And somehow before that down, you just felt he was going to, which says a lot for somebody as young as him. My biggest concern is the offensive line, which I expected to have been improved, did not look any better than it looked at any point last year, and that
It
is a
didn't.
problem. Um,
It didn't.
if that line is not better, then Joe Burrow is going to have issues. Like any quarterback's going to have issues when they face an inordinate amount of pressure. Like that's just what it is. And that line did not look good this weekend. Now you could say that the Pittsburgh front is really really good. It might be. It might be better than we considered, but they shouldn't have looked that bad. So I'll take a wait and see approach. They are going to be playing a pretty decent defense, but an overall shitty team this week. If Joe Burrow looks really bad this week, then we're going to have to reconsider how we feel about Cincy, but I'm not ready to go there yet. Not with Burrow. Not with Burrow.
Okay.
I'm not overly concerned, though. Week one certainly wasn't good.
Okay. Um. Yeah. I mean, I think he'll be fine. The Aaron Rodgers thing is a lot different for me because I just think that those running backs are going to dominate this offense because they have no one else. Like Christian Watson's dropping wide open passes. Rodgers is petty. Like I can't imagine. Like it's just
Watson's face after he dropped that, Rogers' face
he
after
should have
that
kept running.
drop was something because it was really just like, this really what they gave me. This is what we doing. This is what we're doing.
He misses Alan
The
Lazard.
whole
It sounds
offense in the shitter
it
because
sounds
Alan
weird.
Lazard isn't playing. Like,
He
come on,
misses
man.
Alan
It can't be
Lazard,
that.
dude.
It can't
It
be that.
is. It
It
is,
can't
B.
be that. Like,
It is. It is. He had nobody to
so
go to the
Rogers will
Aaron.
not be that. Look, he's not going to be that bad, but
No.
I don't think he is going to be a particularly good fantasy quarterback. I've maintained that who you're throwing to does matter to a point. And
It
we
does.
could say, well, look at Mahomes. He doesn't have Hill. He still has a bunch of competent NFL wide receivers, people that we have heard of before, that he is throwing
And he's
into,
got Kelsey.
including Rodgers' former number two wide receiver. Like
Mhm.
he had,
Mhm.
and he has 1A or 1B at tight end. Like
Yeah, it matters. It
the
matters a whole
situation
lot.
for Mahomes is just as a from a quarterback standpoint, it's better. Like it's just a better situation.
I agree. It matters a whole lot. Um, Matt Ryan is weird for me because Matt Ryan looked washed up to me, except when he's throwing to Michael Pitt. Like this Michael Pittman thing. Michael Pittman had 31% target share. We're almost a wide receiver. 31% target share, bro.
I told you.
31%.
I, I told you. If he ended up in
It's
that
an,
high of range at the end of the year, it would not shock me. His volume is going to be insane this year. It
it's
is
going to be
going to be
nuts.
insane. I think I might have said 110 catches for him, and I
Oh
only feel
no.
better about that right now.
Oh
I
no. He's
only
at
feel
like
better.
125, 130 range with this type
It's
of volume.
I'm trying not to be too crazy with it. So 110 is still a hell of a lot of catches. So let's get there.
It just doesn't feel
The
like
Matt
enough
Ryan
with
thing
this,
is one of
man.
those things where if he is your starting quarterback in a traditional one quarterback league, I wouldn't like that.
No.
If he is your backup, or if you play in a two quarterback league, he's your second quarterback. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. You could do worse. My whole thing with Matt Ryan is there are going to be weeks where he looks full on washed and he's going to get you 6 points. There are going to be weeks where he looks pretty good and he's going to get you 25. I tend to like people who I feel pretty consistent about. Um, I do think that that offense is going to be better under him than it has been than it was last year under Carson Wentz.
Okay.
I feel strongly about that. There was some random that Texans Colts game was weird this weekend. I don't know what to make of it from either side. It was just such an odd game. Um, but
It was
Matt
weird.
Ryan is going to put up decent numbers, if nothing else, because he's going to throw to Patrick Mahomes,
Hmm.
and that guy figures out a way to get open or create just enough space. But Matt Ryan didn't look great. He just
No.
watching the game, it just kind of looked like, okay, this is a guy that used to be really, really good, who's not really, really good anymore, but he's okay. He's fine.
Right. Carson Wentz or Matt Ryan?
I think I lean Wentz.
I think I lean Wentz too.
Because I think they're both going to be volatile, but I think that Wentz has a higher upside. He's more athletic. He has more receivers. And if they're going to open that offense up in the way that it appeared they plan to open up the offense, then
He's gonna
I have to
produce.
look at them entirely differently than I was considering. Um,
Shit is weird.
also, so what was their issue with Gibson? Because he looked pretty damn good on Sunday.
He
So
looked
what
like
was
a
it
good
that he
player, bro. I have no idea. He was on kick return duty before my man B Rob,
like?
while
I'm
Sterling gets
sitting
shot. He
because
was on
all
kick
summer they're
return
not
duty.
feeling him,
He was on kick return duty,
and he
bro.
came out and looked good. He looked good running the ball. He looked from a Carson Wentz standpoint. He looked good receiving the ball, so it doesn't have to be 100% to McKissick. Um, that doesn't have to be a telltale sign that they're going to go to the running back where
Do you trade for him at this
there were
point?
times in the past where McKissick would come in and everybody it's a passing play. Like
is he
so, we'll see. I
someone who you would trade for?
based on week one, who Gibson
Gibson.
at a price, but I'm not going out there looking to get Antonio Gibson. Like fact of the matter is, 2 weeks ago they were going to have this dude on kickoff duty. The second they feel they have an excuse not to play him, they very well not may not play him. I don't know how you trust that. They had him
Yeah.
on
Well,
kickoff duty 2 weeks ago.
that's where
Like
I'm at.
so, it's one of those things where if the person who had Gibson were trying to quote unquote just sell on him because he had a decent game and I can get him at a decent price, yeah, I'd consider it. I like him a lot if he's your running back too. You could
Okay.
it appears you could do worse, but when's Robinson coming back? Is he back in 4 weeks or is he back next year?
It's a
You see,
big
like
right.
that's the thing. That's the thing because even if Robinson isn't going to take over that job in the way that he would have before what happened, if he gets to a point where he's taking, let's call it 8 touches a game, and you're going to get 6 to 8 touches from McKissick in the passing game,
Right.
Washington's generally not going to go beyond 30 to 32 total rushes or total touches for the running back. So it then becomes a matter of if Gibson's volume isn't what it was this weekend, how valuable is he? So I'm not against acquiring him, but I'm not going out of my way to go get Antonio Gibson.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. It leads us into running back, and we are starting. Welcome back, baby. Welcome back, baby. Mr. Saquon.
Hey, we talked
Welcome
about it.
back, Saquon.
We talked about he had elite potential if he was truly healthy, and he looked
He
healthy.
looked incredible Sunday. Like he looked wonderful Sunday. Everything that made Saquon Saquon, the, the jump cuts, the decisiveness, the acceleration, the vision out the backfield, just powerful. And he's running angry now. Like he has a chip on his shoulder to where he's out here looking like you
He's
forgot that
running
I'm
like a
that
man who's
guy.
pissed off that he missed so much time,
Yes.
and
Yes.
he's running like a guy who's probably a little pissed off that he's wasted this time. And when it was time to pay him, they were like, "Yeah, we'll see next summer. We'll
We'll see
see."
next summer. He's a year removed from the injury that stopped him. He looks like pre-injury Saquon. He looks like rookie year Saquon with a couple years under his belt,
He
knowing how to
does.
get what he wants to do. Saquon looked unbelievable. Um,
He
I'm
did.
trying to, the guys at the top, Jonathan Taylor, unbelievable. Like the workload that Jonathan Taylor got, 38 touches, I think he had something silly
That's
like that.
that's not what. As
That it's
somebody
not
who works in
sustainable.
Jonathan Taylor stock, that's not what I want. I told you I want 22 to 25 touches a week from him.
Um,
I am hoping that they don't burn him out because it JT or give it to a Pittman offense. That seems to be the entire direction of that offense. I imagine that they don't want to give him over 30 carries every week.
no,
That game
I
was
can't
so
imagine that.
strange. I don't know. It's such an odd, weird game. But he looked like himself. He looked great. Some the guys at the top, for the most part, did not look great. Like they looked good, but the guys that you were really thinking of as the elite guys, other than Taylor, did not necessarily have a great first week. But it's like, what do you make of it? Like McCaffrey, I thought he looked good. It looked like they made a conscious effort that they were
Not going to overwhelm him with the
not
volume.
going to overload him immediately. If it stays that if it stays that way, his ceiling definitely falls. There's no way around it. His ceiling. The thing about him was he was so efficient and got so much volume. If he's just being efficient, that is still absolutely valuable, but that isn't
Right.
top of the board value. But you may get him for more games than you were anticipating if they aren't overworking him. So it works both ways.
Which he'll
He
take.
still looks like a solid RB1. Yeah, he still looks like a solid RB1. Just not necessarily that guy that's going to move the needle in that he's dropping 28 to 30 points a week sort of thing. But I don't think that
Right.
would have been reasonable to have him at this point anyway. So
Right.
he looked good, not great.
Here's where my first overreaction comes in. Um, DeAndre Swift might be on course for some Christian McCaffrey type numbers this year if they keep using him this way. Um, Here's the thing that caps that: Jamal Williams is going to take all the goal line work, and Christian McCaffrey is the goal line back down there too. But as far as just his usage rate and the way they look for him out of the
Swift is,
backfield, Swift is going to have a
Swift is going to have a huge year.
monster season this year. Um, I feel like his usage might be among the
Wait,
highest in this
same
league.
same token that I think it should be. The thing about it is, and I watched more of that game than I cared to watch. I don't know how I ended up watching so much of that game. The Philly defense didn't look good.
No, it
I
didn't
don't know
look
if that's
nearly
just
as good as I
first
thought it
week
would.
getting. No, it looked like they had a lot of pieces who didn't know how to fit together yet. I
Right.
don't know how much that opened things up because I don't expect any teams to be able to run on Philly quite the way that they got ran on by Detroit on Sunday. But DeAndre Swift, we were both extremely high on him. We both had him in our top 10. He has only risen.
He's going to look.
There is reason
Yeah,
to believe that he ends as a top three running back based on what we
I agree. I agree completely.
saw over the weekend. Not just the numbers, but they were moving him around. They were getting him out of the backfield, even when they weren't just, and it wasn't just simple wheel routes and things of that nature. They gave him a route tree, which he clearly can run. He has great
Yeah.
hands. I'm a Swift fan. I don't have a bad thing to say about him.
Yeah.
You asked if I would personally be like looking to get Gibson. Swift is one of those guys where it would cost you, but if the person who has him has any willingness to trade him, and seeing Disco Paulie's question, where I am worried about the touchdown vulturing. I just don't think that it will dim his value enough that I would want
No.
him. But say, for instance, Williams were not around taking those goal line touches, then we're talking
We're talking like Swift
About
might be
okay, you want Swift to do that's the sort of air he would be in if he
right,
were also getting that goal line work.
right, 100%. Um, another the top of the running back list this week was very interesting. Like
All of them,
we'll get
other
into
than
the more
JT,
good, other than JT and then Swift,
I
depending
felt
on
really
how
good about,
high.
despite the
Mixon,
fact
I
that the
felt good
team was
about.
terrible. I felt great about Mixon because
Mixon, I
Mixon,
felt
my whole thing all summer, as I said, look, I know it sounded crazy when I said I had him third, but what I expected was for him to really get the lion's share of the actual carries, and I
and he
expected
did.
him to be fairly involved in the passing game, and he was. And if that line is does not improve in the way that we expected, those little swing and dump out passes are going to be coming more and more just because it has to. Um, I feel good about Mixon. I won't say better
I do too.
than I did because I was really high on him all summer, but I feel very confident that he's going to be very good this year.
Um,
What did
yeah,
you
yeah,
think
man.
about Dalvin? Because I didn't know what to make of that Minnesota offense. Because in a game that you were leading that way, my whole thought process is we're going to get more of Dalvin. We didn't
Huh.
seem to. So,
My Dalvin Cook.
like,
Here's
I don't know what
here
to do
here's
with it.
here's where I am with Dalvin. The way I think about Dalvin changes slightly because that offense looks exactly like what they want to do and what they have done in Los Angeles. Now, like we understand Jefferson is going to be the Cooper Cup of that, but what they do is they don't turn the ball and hand the ball off a ton in that offense. A lot of it's short bubble pat like little passes and things. I do like that they incorporated that screen pass that Dalvin is magnificent at. I like that they continue to have that there. I think Dalvin will be very good. Don't think Dalvin. I had him coming in at RB5. I don't think
I had him
Dalvin
at
finishes as
6.
RB5 this year. I don't think he does because a lot of what Dalvin had was that volume. I don't think the
Dalvin is
volume
no.
is theirs.
I
You know,
tend
you
to
know
agree.
the
Like, he's going to be good. I wouldn't be worried about playing him or anything like that, but that ceiling is not as high as I thought it was.
I would rather DeAndre Swift than Dalvin Cook.
Yes, I agree.
I would rather coming into the I didn't have it like this. I'd rather have Joe Mixon than Dalvin Cook. Um,
I tried to tell
I'd
you.
I'd rather duh, 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 not Najee. I still hate how Najee and Najee with the foot coming in. I get all that. I just hate how I hate the
Even if
inefficiency
he's
he
going to
gets from that
play,
end.
the fact that he's hurt after 1 week,
I don't like
I'm
it.
not a fan. So, okay.
I don't like his efficiency. His efficiency is gross to me.
We think is going to be good. Not necessarily great. One guy that we are both a bit down on, at least according to consensus. Would you rather have Dalvin right now, or would you rather have Chubb?
Dalvin, because Kareem
Chubb
Hunt is
looked
going to cook.
Chubb.
Kareem Hunt is going to cook, bro.
He is. He
Kareem
is.
Hunt's
So,
going to
and
cook
it's so
crazy.
weird because it's like Chubb is
If
so
they
good
get
at
yo
running
dog,
the ball. He is
if they
so good at it.
gave
However,
Watson a
it's
year,
like
I'd be
they've
all in on.
decided
I'd be all in on Hunt, bro. I'd be all in.
it's as though we talked about this throughout the summer, but it's
I'd
as
be
though
all
they've
in.
decided we are just not going to throw it to you, Nick. We know that you can catch it because he's proven that he
No,
can catch the ball quite well. They just
you
don't
can't
want
have it.
to. They're like, we're going to give Kareem this work, but we're also going to give him some of your carries too. And we ain't going to give you any of his passes. We're going to give him some of your carries. So it's like if you're watching that game, Nick Chubb was clearly the best running back that Cleveland has. And yet, by a fantasy standpoint, Dalvin was considerably more productive. I
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of that this year. But I run that
yeah,
rock, and that offensive line is still very good. That
I
offensive
agree.
line moves people. I like it.
I agree. I agree. Um, James Robinson, my last good one, James Robinson, bro. James Robinson looks like he's back. And this is exactly how what I felt. This is why I had ETN so low because I just felt James Robinson was going to come back
So
and do James Robinson
so
things.
here's where I stand with this because James Robinson looked back. He looked healthy, which I wasn't fully expecting, at least not this early. He looked great out of the backfield running. He looked great when they got it to him in the passing game. Early on in that game, there was a concerted effort to get ATM the rock.
As they should.
He looked good at times. He looked good at times. However, I feel like the game for him flipped on two plays.
Yeah, the
There
the
was, I want
Lawrence overthrow and then the drop.
to say, second and goal to the drop. He was open by like 8 yards, and Lawrence just threw it out the back of the end zone. And Lawrence had no pressure on him. That was one of those throws that, as a quarterback in this league, you have to make. You
Right.
have to make it. You have no pressure. It's a well run route. He threw it out the back of the end zone. Etienne catches that pass, first drive of their season. Weird things build momentum for these guys.
That's true.
And then it was either the next drive or the drive after that.
The
He
bad drop.
drops what should have been a walk in touchdown.
Hmm.
Coaches aren't here for that shit. Like,
They're not.
they're not here for it.
They're
Not when they
not.
have somebody on the bench who is every bit as good as you.
I agree.
They put Robinson in, and what did Robinson do? Robinson did what he always does. He produced.
He
So at this
produces.
point, what I wanted was a situation where one of them ended up 60-40. I think early in the season, it might lean that way towards Robinson. It might lean that way towards ATN. I think that ultimately it's going to be pretty close to a 50-50 split. I feel
Right.
better about Robinson. That being said, ATN is a guy that I personally am targeting this week. I want to capitalize on anybody who thinks, oh shit, look what Robinson did. I need to get off of this. Now, I'm not looking to offer fair value for him. My whole thing is
Right.
I want to trade for him as a come up, as a flex like option. I do
Right.
not feel good about him if I have to plug him into my running back two slot right now. Fight about
Really?
plugging
Okay.
Robinson in my running back two slot right now. So take that how you will.
Hmm.
Um, over the next 4 weeks, I feel good about Robinson. For the next 4 weeks, after the next 4 weeks, I will reevaluate this. But coaches are weird. We gave you the
Coaches
shot,
are
young
very
man.
weird.
You did not take it. We gave him the shot. He
He
ran
took
with
it.
it. Coaches are
Yeah.
weird. So
Yeah.
for the next
Yeah.
4 weeks, I like Robinson more. Over the course of the season, I think it is going to be closer than. I don't know who's going to end up being the number one fantasy running back. I'd have no problem rostering either, long as you have the understanding that they may be more of a flex play than an RB2 play as time goes along.
My last standout before we get to the negative. I don't understand at all why Melvin Gordon is getting as many touches as he's getting. It doesn't make sense to me at all. Because Javante
Wait.
Williams
So
looks
last
up.
night,
Javante looks wonderful. Javante looks wonderful, man. He
we
looks
didn't
great
talk
out of the
about this.
backfield.
Did you watch the game? Did
I
you
watched the
watch the
whole
game
game.
with Aikman and did you? No. Did you watch Aikman and Buck or did you watch Manning's?
I watched the Mannings.
Okay, as did I. I legitimately forgot about Aikman and Buck. I'll circle back next week to see what they're talking about. I assume it's going to sound like it sounded for the last 15 years, so fuck it, I really
Right.
didn't care. Um, as the game wore on, Peyton Manning seemed so frustrated that Javante was coming out of the game. It
Every
was
single time.
wild. Like he's
Every
looking at the
single
screen
time.
like, what is wrong with y'all? And it's not that Melvin Gordon did not look good. Melvin Gordon looked better than I expected him to look. He looked very, very
He did.
solid last night. Williams just looks so much better. Williams looks like a guy that if Melvin Gordon weren't around, we would have to talk about as one of the top 5 to 7 running backs in fantasy. But instead, we're talking about him as a 10 to 15 guy because it is clear that Gordon is going to keep getting work.
It's weird, man.
He
It's
just
weird.
is. It should be a 70-30 split. It looks like it's going to be more like 60-40. I have to hope that eventually sanity prevails and they give Williams the rock. He needs to be touching that ball 18 to 20 times a game.
It was a
And mixing the passes.
60-40
I'm not talking
split.
he needs 20 rushes,
Yeah, I mean, he had just about
but the
20
snaps.
PPR points in a 60-40 split. Like Williams could produce
The thing is,
something
it's not just
spooky out
I
here.
like the guy. I like the guy that's on the field constantly.
Yeah, 100%. Um, getting to the tough, like getting
He's
to the
so
back
much
to the
better.
top. He is getting to the
Wait,
top of
wait,
this
wait,
one now.
wait, wait. Are we still talking good? Because I got one more.
AJ Dillon was gonna be my last good.
Okay, that I we needed to talk about him. We needed to talk about. I just need to make
Yeah,
sure because I
AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon led them in carries, and his target share was very, very interesting yesterday. On Sunday, his target share. Now
so
I have a league where I went heavy at quarterback. I went Josh and Herbert, and then I went Justin Jefferson because I wanted AJ Dillon as my
mhm.
RB1, and I needed to be right on AJ Dillon as RB1. Everything that I saw makes me feel perfectly fine with AJ Dillon as RB1 because that offense is going to run through those running backs, and AJ Dillon's going to get more targets than I thought. It's the target share that
I
really jumps off the page for me.
I I agree with you. My question is because I want to. I don't remember the exact wording I used. I think I may have said that he finishes above Jones or that they're going to be super close. I don't remember exactly what wording I used at the time. How do you feel about Aaron Jones? Because he still did not play badly. He looked like Aaron Jones, but
He did.
I didn't. I expected Aaron Jones to get 80% of that passing work for the running back position. If that's not the case, because it looks like
Jones,
Dylan's going to get more of the carries. It definitely looks that way.
Jones, if Jones doesn't get 6 to 7 targets a week, which I thought. I thought Jones would get at least 7 targets, you know, as a mixture of running
How
back
many targets did
and
he get the other day?
schemed
Did
out.
he? How many
I
targets
don't.
did he get?
I'm not 100% sure how many targets he got. That's a good question because I thought I
Like
think Aaron Jones is gonna get
it wasn't an inconsequential number. Like
no.
his targets didn't seem bad. I mean, they threw to the running backs even more than I expected, which is saying a lot because we expected them to throw to the running backs a
We did,
lot.
we did,
Um,
and I still think that they will. Um, I don't think this is an aberration. I think this is their
so
offense.
he had 5 targets.
That's what I'm saying. That's not enough. That's not enough for Aaron Jones to be a top
Not
eight to
not
ten
if he's
guy.
only getting 5 carries as well. Like
No,
what you want is for Aaron Jones, understanding that he's going to be a PPR sort of back this year. What you wanted in an ideal situation, 10 carries, 6 catches,
right.
whatever that looks like. That's what you want in an ideal situation. Because when he catches the ball in the backfield, generally speaking, his average per catch is higher than most backs. He is
It's
very,
higher.
very good out of the backfield.
Yes,
So if he's catching 5, 6 balls, that's going to be he gets from carries. But if he's splitting catches and getting 30% of the carries,
it's not.
Dylan's the better player to have.
Yes, yes. I would be nervous as an Aaron Jones owner. Um, not and this is not an overreaction for me. I would just be nervous at what it
So
looked like
that's the thing. I would.
coming out of what AJ Dillon is getting, not that whole offense because AJ Dillon is not his targets aren't going to go down if he's on the field and he's open. Aaron Rodgers is going to hit him, and they like how Aaron, and AJ Dillon's going to be that goal line guy as well. So Aaron Jones can't come in and sneak that off. AJ Dillon's a better goal line back as well in their eyes. So now he's getting the goal line work and he's getting more targets than you and he's getting more carries and he looks productive doing it. I would be slightly nervous as an Aaron Jones owner. It just personally, I'd be slightly nervous.
It's not as. It's not as. It's not nearly as drastic as what happened in LA. Like it's nowhere near that
Ooh, let's
drastic,
get straight to the bad.
but
Let's get straight
it's
to the bad.
the same general feel of oh shit, I misread this. Like even though I knew Dylan was going to be great, I misread that because
He's gonna be
I
very
think it's
good.
going to be Dylan's backfield
He's gonna be really good. He's gonna be really good.
by midseason. That's going to be his backfield, the
Yeah,
McKissick role.
yeah. Now
So
let's. Everybody's waiting for it. Cam Akers. Now I've been down
I'm
on
out.
him. You know I've been down on Akers. I didn't feel it at all.
I'm
I
out.
did not know
I was not down
3
on him.
carries
I
for 0
You didn't.
yards.
You tried for me,
I did try to warn you, but not
dude.
3 carries, 0
I got.
yards.
I have. No, no, no. I have Cam Akers in two leagues. Um, and quite honestly, I'm not gonna cut him. I'm not that drastic. Like that's
No.
the upside still is
But
what
he's
it
not
is,
sniffing
especially
your
if
lineup.
Henderson gets
He
hurt.
can't sniff your lineup. He can't.
However, in one of the leagues we participated in, I tried to trade for him today,
You try to trade for him
but I
today.
literally off.
Okay.
Yes, I offered somebody who I will otherwise be cutting tomorrow. And I felt fine with that offer. I didn't feel disrespectful. I didn't feel that it was outlandish. I felt like this is me offering you fair value. I'm offering you somebody I'm about to drop because I consider Akers the value of somebody who happens to be sitting on waivers, despite it being a
Yeah.
ridiculously deep league. I have him in two leagues. The two leagues I have him in, man, go ahead and break something so I can put you on IR. Like, just go ahead and hurt yourself so I can just put you in an IR spot. I got too much pride to cut you, but I'm not gonna play you, brother. I'm
I did
not.
I did
And my
try.
concern is that he's transforming into the new Shanahan. I, I got look as soon as we're gonna get to week 3 or 4, and everybody's gonna settle into Henderson being the guy, and then it's gonna be a random game where Akers gets all the work because McVay he might just hate us the same way that Shanahan hates us.
And
He might
Belichick,
hate
all those
us.
guys who don't care about us as far as running back
dude,
goes.
dude, 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 dude. The New England running game. I'm so happy that I have no parts of it whatsoever. I tried to tell you. You tried to
Now,
tell me about
hold on,
Stevenson, and what I
hold
kept
on,
saying is he might
hold
be the
on.
most talented, which he
Right, but hold
is,
on,
but Bill hates us. Bill hates
hold on.
us.
Ty Montgomery
Bill
just hit
hates
IR today.
us.
Ty Montgomery just went on IR today. Ramondre time. It's Ramondre time. They need somebody to catch the ball at that
You know what?
backfield, and it's
Somehow,
Ramondre.
some way, they about to trade a fifth-round pick for Rex Burkhead and fuck us all up anyway. Because that's what
Oh,
they
don't bring
do.
Rex
Because Bill
back.
hates us.
Don't bring Rex
Because
back.
Bill hates Rex already ruining things in Houston. Like
He's gonna
all that
put.
Damian Pierce hype got,
Uh,
all
you know
that
what he's gonna
Damian
do?
Pierce hype died
You
down
know what he's gonna do? He's gonna put Johnu Smith.
real quick. Like
He's
man,
gonna
if
make
I
Johnu Smith, James White in that offense, and I'm gonna throw everything. I'm gonna ruin it. He's gonna make Johnu Smith that guy. I see it now. I just talked myself. I see it now. And Johnu Smith is gonna run
yo
backfield routes, and I'm gonna be so
low
disgusted, though.
key, I think he would be so ideal for such a role.
You
Like
see
all
it,
jokes
right?
aside,
You see
Jonnu
it.
Smith has always come off as more H back than traditional tight end to me.
It's
Um,
coming,
for
bro.
those who don't know, H back is what they tried to convince us Tebow was, knowing damn well he couldn't do that shit.
He couldn't. He couldn't. Johnu Smith is gonna be that guy, man.
That man
He
running broken
is.
routes, talk about leadership. Like you know
Leadership.
what's good for morale and leadership? People who can play football, and this dude can. Like, you know what? Tim Tebow got to be the best person like in the history of man because people just love giving him incredible opportunities. They go out of,
Do.
they let that man go play
He played for the Mets, dog. He played for my team.
baseball for
He he
years.
he played for
They
my
really let
team,
him go
dog.
play baseball
He did.
while he was
He did.
also doing TV for an entirely different sport. Like that's wild.
It's wide
That is
receiver time.
wild.
Now here's some overreaction on
Wait, wait, wait,
like
wait, 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 wait. We gotta rewind to running back because I had to ask about this, and this might be
oh
something we touch on later with waivers. But since we're talking about McVay and his hate of running backs, and I mentioned Shanahan,
Elijah Mitchell out 2 months.
Look, I loved Elijah Mitchell. Injuries have been an issue. I don't know what to do with the Jeff Wilson thing because, from a logical standpoint, Jeff Wilson should be everyone's number one waiver target this week just because it's a matter of you get the number one running back in what should be a pretty decent offense for the next 8 weeks. That is
Debo
worth
about
a
to get
decent amount of.
Debo about to get 12 carries a game.
My whole thing is Shanahan has proven over and over he hates running backs. They are
Hmm.
working out like 6 of them this week.
Hmm. They just
Look,
signed
put a
Marlon Mack to
claim
the
in for
practice
him.
squad.
Put a claim in for him if you need
It's Debo, bro. Debo's about
to,
to
like
run
by all
12
means.
12.
But if you
Debo's about
get
to
him
get
on
12
into
carries.
your roster and you trust it, you deserve whatever you get from it. That's all I'm saying.
Nah.
Because there's going to be a week where he runs for 110 and 2 touchdowns and you feel like a genius. And there's going to be another week where he gets it 3 times for 7 yards and you feel like a fucking idiot. If you insert a San Francisco running back directly into your lineup, you deserve
You deserve what you
whatever it
get.
is you get, good or bad. It's a mystery box. You deserve what you get. Don't come to me crying. I did not tell you to pick him up. I told you you make a claim and leave him on the bench and see how it goes. But if you insert him directly into your lineup, you deserve whatever you get
He's worth like five.
because Shanahan
Like
hates
he's.
running backs. And now we can move on to running backs.
Is he worth $5 of your fab?
Now, I'm talking. Sure, he'd be worth $5,
Okay.
but I am talking more so not leagues. Because I only run one league. Leagues is tradition. Your top claim for this week. I understand it. I would not do so. Is what I'm saying. Like I think
Okay.
that there is likely, unless if you just are desperate at running back. Like if you have Elijah Mitchell, for example, and he's your number one claim, so be it. But I think that there are pieces out there that are very interesting that I think will have higher ultimate value than Jeff Wilson will because he's not ultimately going to get a RB1 type of share of the carries because Kyle Shanahan hates us all. That's the
Yeah.
only
Pretty
reason. He
much.
hates us
Pretty
all.
much. Don't freak out about Henry too much. Like he's gonna be fine. Maybe his ceiling's a little lower because that offense is not gonna be explosive at the wide
Wait,
receiver
I'm
position.
sorry. Who are we discussing? I'm sorry, I didn't
Derrick
hear you.
Henry. Yeah, Henry. Don't freak out about
Ah,
Henry too much. Don't freak out about Eckler too much, and don't freak out about Kamara too much. Those guys are gonna be okay.
so
Those guys are gonna be
so
fine.
Kamara, I am not particularly worried about because I feel that he's going to get passing game work ultimately, if nothing else,
Yeah,
and a lot of it. Henry's an interesting case because he
he can't
didn't look
catch.
bad.
He can't catch.
He just didn't look like peak.
He can't catch, bro.
So Henry, I feel okay, though I might lower the ceiling on where I had him.
Hmm.
Eckler, I don't know what to make of the Eckler thing. That's the one that I actually feel a bit like. I feel much better about Henry going forward than I do about Eckler.
Eckler had 18 touches. Like it didn't seem like he had it much, but he had 18 touches. It's not like you want 20, but 18 just feels low for that guy. Like it feels like he should be touching the ball 20, 22 times.
Not my, but OTB, it might be a McCaffrey thing where it is best for them to actually keep him to 15 to 18. Like,
Right.
and I can't knock that
Right. Yeah, it just sucks for me. it sucks.
logic. And
It
the
sucks
other
for
thing,
me.
more of the offense. Like, like Herbert looks like an elite quarterback who can make
He
every
does.
elite throw, who can read defenses. I
Thursday is going to show me a lot
I want to
about
see
what.
more of secure with it
Yeah, yeah. Thursday is going to show me a
because
lot. A big
Herbert's
game
going to have
against
the ball
Kansas
in his
City.
hand.
Yeah,
Herbert's
yeah, yeah. A big
because in
game,
a game
Kansas
like
City. A
that where
lot
you
of
don't have
points.
Keenan Allen, in theory, Austin Eckler should be the main offensive weapon being used for LA in that game.
He should.
If for whatever reason he isn't, I'm not saying that he won't be, but if for whatever reason he isn't, it goes from something I'm looking at to something I'm concerned about.
Hmm.
Ultimately, I think he's going to be a top 10 running back, and If I drafted him, I feel
Yeah,
okay
yeah, I
about
think
it,
so too.
but it's at least something to look for.
I think so too. I think so too. Hopping on the wide receiver, and this is going to be quick for me. There's too many wide receivers to really deep dive heavy. This is going to be quick. I have two
Hmm.
overreactions, and my two overreactions are we're going to have two 2,000-yard wide receivers this year. I've seen all I need to see. Cup, the Cooper Cup thing is
Jefferson. Here's my
is here.
that
It's
was my
here.
question: is who's the and? Because yeah,
It's Cup and Jefferson. It's Cup and Jefferson. Jefferson is going to do
Stafford did not
everything
look
that we
good,
said.
and it did.
No, like the better Stafford gets, yes, it's going to be better for other guys, but it's going to be even better for Cup because whenever he's in trouble, where's Cooper at? Oh, this pass, where's Cooper? He's gonna get 14 targets a week. It's just coming. Justin Jefferson is gonna get 14
So
targets a week.
I gotta piggyback this. I no, no, no. So I have to piggyback off this point. So I am with you. Overreaction the other way. I feel really, really uneasy about both of their wide receiver twos. I don't feel good about Thielen right now. I feel downright bad about
Allen
Allen
Robinson.
Robinson. Like
Yeah.
Thielen, I think is gonna. My thing with Thielen was he doesn't look washed. He still gets open. The thing
He
is
does.
Jefferson is a better player, and
Oh
Jefferson is
God.
always
Yeah.
open.
Always.
So Kirk's going to throw to Jefferson.
As he
So
should.
Thielen, and in fairness, I have Thielen in two leagues. I don't feel great about it right now. Like it's not like panic trading in time, but it's I need to make other. I need to do some things so that he is sliding into a flex role. He should not be in a higher role than that. Allen Robinson, dude looks washed. Like maybe
Ugh.
it wasn't all Chicago's fault last year. Maybe that dude is washed because he looked washed. He looked washed. And then you have Stafford going to the sideline after throwing him the jump ball, mouthing the words, he can't go get it. Once a quarterback says that about you, you ain't getting them targets, B. Buy Van Jefferson. Get Van Jefferson stock. If he is on waivers, go get him because he's going to be their wide receiver too. He was hurt
I'm
this
not.
week. Van Jefferson is about to be their wide
I'm
receiver
not
too.
as.
Dude, he looks washed. He looks washed.
I'm not.
Like, what do you want me to like? It's one. No, 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 no. Sometimes a wide receiver will have a bad game, and it's like he was
Hold
getting
on.
open. The quarterback didn't get the
I'm not.
ball to him. He only had two attempts to him. You know why? Because he couldn't get away from anybody. And Stafford
I'm.
got a bum elbow. He ain't making them tight window throws.
I'm not
Come on.
as
You know,
out.
Stafford's whole thing is like,
I'm
his
not as
elbow
out.
probably hurts on every throw, and his whole thing is, I'm just gonna throw it to Cooper. If I gotta hurt to throw this damn ball, it's gonna go
It's gonna go to Cooper Cup.
Cup.
I'm not
It's gonna go
as
Cup every
out.
time. Robinson, I am
Uh,
out.
I'm not
OUT
as out.
out,
I'm not
out,
as out on
out.
Allen Robinson.
Honestly,
I'm not as
the
out.
Rams. Look,
I'm not as out, yo. I
forget
trust Sean
overreactions.
McVay.
No, 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 no. Out. Henderson, I am in. I am in on Henderson. Cup, he is that dude. Like he's that dude, man. He's that
Cup is good.
dude.
Cup is unbelievable, bro. Cup
Dude,
is unreal.
that touchdown pass where they're like, did he
Unreal.
get a second foot in? And then they
He got.
replay it and he got three.
He's unbelievable. He's unreal. Jefferson,
Like, man, what are
Cup
you
and
supposed to do with
Jefferson.
that?
Like walking into a week knowing you're playing against Cup or Jefferson is terrifying this year. They're going to go like they're the two most terrifying guys to play against. It's just like the ceiling is 50 points for them. Like they can just go out and get
But
15 for
so
203
so
touchdowns
I'm
anytime.
I'm I'm in I'm in 7 leagues. I won five this week. I lost two. Nobody cares. I get that. Nobody wants
Nobody
to know the
cares.
details. But both leagues I lost in, my opponent had Jefferson, and it was just
That's
kind of
fine.
like, all right, what are you supposed to do?
What do you do?
What are you supposed to do?
40 is 40. Like what do you do? What do you do?
You charge it to the game, like, all right,
I have a league
like what am I supposed
with
to do
both
with
of them,
that?
bro. I got a league both on the same team, and it's my favorite team I've ever drafted. It's my favorite team I've ever drafted, dog. It's the favorite. Like, I didn't realize I would enjoy it this much until I saw it on screen. I was like, oh, okay. This is why people go wide receiver now instead of running back. Like, this is just how I'm doing life from now on. Like, having those guys is just because every drive they're getting a target, at least one. Every single time they're on every drive, it's where's Cup, where's Jefferson, bro.
So
Like Diggs is
the reason I asked who was the second though, Adams looks like he's going to get the ball a ton.
he got 17 targets. That's a
Bam.
lot of targets, B. That's a gang of targets, yo.
I don't feel great about Hunter Renfro right now.
Oh,
Like
he's who I'm the most worried. Like,
because
nah, it's
Darren
Adams, bro.
Waller still got his normal target share. Darren Waller got a normal target share. It's like Adams said, all right, I'm going to take all the regular number one wide receiver targets, but I'm also going to take some of yours, Hunter. Get it up. He demoed him for the
17
targets.
targets. 17 targets is a
17.
ton, bro. Devontae Adams is gonna have a monster season too. Like it's just the wide receivers this
We
year.
we
You look
talked
at
about Hill. We talked about Hill and how you have to justify the contract and what you gave up
yeah,
for him. It's the same for Devontae, except it's a better
yes,
quarterback and one that he is actually familiar with. He's about to eat.
and one who's gonna get him the ball, bro. Like he's just gonna get him the ball. Devontae, where you want the ball at, bro? Like we saw Jalen Waddle cook a little bit. He had a nice little touchdown. You're not gonna see.
Hey, the dance
I
is
don't think you
dope.
see that.
Hey. That touchdown, the touchdown dance is fire, man. Yo, shout out
Alabama,
to Jalen
baby.
Waddle. Shout out to Jalen
Alabama,
Waddle because
baby.
the fact
Alabama,
that touchdown dance is an actual Waddle is like the dopest thing ever. Like, I'm sorry, that's fire.
Alabama,
That's fire.
baby. Alabama.
Hey,
So it's
I ain't gonna say
but
that roll tide bullshit. Y'all should have lost to Texas.
roll damn tide. We should have, but we didn't. Roll damn tide.
You act like I
So
give a shit. I'm not a Texas fan. I'm just saying,
roll
I'm a
damn
college
tide.
football neutral. I watched that game, and I did not leave that game thinking Alabama was the better team today. They were the team
Roll
that
damn.
won.
Roll tide. Bryce Young is
Hey,
that
good for
dude.
them.
That's what that's what I left. I left thinking Bryce Young is that guy. Um,
He's gonna look good in Dallas next year, man, because we gonna suck.
Yo, Pops called. Listen, quick tangent.
We gonna
My dad
suck.
called today. My
We gonna
dad called and was
suck.
like, "Listen,
We gonna be so
let
fucking
me go ahead and tell you
garbage,
this
B.
now. We about to go 2-15, and I just couldn't stop laughing. So I was like,
Trying to
Dad,
tell, dude, because your dad's a smart man, and like I told you when I said we're gonna be awful, you were like, nah, and then I started
nah,
breaking it
man.
down, and
I
all of
still
my
don't
feelings were
see it.
logical. Your dad
I still
seems
don't.
like a smart dude. I
He
imagine he
said
went through
two
the
and 15.
same thing that I went to, and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna suck.
He
We're
was
gonna
like,
suck." And you
ain't
got
nobody
Jerry
game
coming out
planning.
today. So
He was
everybody
like,
said
ain't
six to
nobody
eight
game
weeks
planning
for
for
the
Cooper
injury,
Rush, bro. Like, son, Cooper Rush ain't
dude.
it. And I was like,
Dude,
oh, that's true.
here's the thing: Kellen Moore has been figured out.
Yeah,
Kellen
yeah.
Moore's
I was like,
offense has been figured out, and
mm-hmm,
so now you have a bad quarterback and a predictable offense behind a bad offensive line,
mm-hmm.
and now Jerry's
We're
all, well, he might be back within 4 weeks. So you're going to rush him back? Did we learn nothing from Romo? He's just going to get hurt again. He's just
we're
going to get hurt
we're
again.
we're gonna talk about
Nothing.
Dallas heavy because I got a CD Lamb question. But let's get into Jamar Chase. Amazing. He's one of
He
them
looks
Jews too.
the top five
Unreal.
wide receivers look like the
Unbelievable.
top five wide receivers. If you
They
took
do.
one of them, you feel good about it. Um,
Hmm. To me, Pittman goes into that range. Pittman's gonna have that type of year. Pittman
I
goes into the
am
bottom of that top. Pittman's six for me.
so
He's six.
I I am look. It could just be that I'm hard headed. I think I have him fifth and Dig sixth, but I might just be hard headed. I'm admitting that full heartedly.
You're bugging on Diggs.
None of this. I have him six,
Nah,
and
you're bugging on Diggs, bro.
we just talked about Pittman might catch 125 passes. You just said
Right,
that.
right. I think
You
Diggs
just said
catches like
that.
130, bro.
Fair enough, but we're saying that Pittman is in that realm. Fair enough. Like
He is.
Look, we're talking tears. We're talking tears, and you're trying to get
Yeah,
mad at me
yeah.
over tears. We're talking tears, baby. This is what we
I just
do. We do
it's just
tears.
Diggs,
We
man.
do tears.
I just felt you were too low on Diggs, man, and I still do.
I
Diggs is
was. I was. I
Diggs is gonna
was. I'm still very
Diggs
high
is
on Davis, but I was too low on Diggs. But it's not like I
yeah.
ever said don't draft Diggs. You're not going to paint it like I
No,
said
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
like Diggs.
I'm not
I
saying you to
never
say don't draft.
once said that shit. You sit here like I said Diggs is trash. I
I didn't say
said
you said
I think he is
not what I
going to
said.
catch plenty of passes,
I didn't
go for plenty of yards, and have less touchdowns.
I didn't say
I
you
no
said
longer
Diggs.
believe he's come
I
on,
didn't say
chill,
I
chill,
didn't say you
chill,
said
B.
Diggs was
Coming
trash.
at you coming
That's
at my
all I'm
neck
saying.
on Diggs, and I ain't feeling it. I ain't
Listen,
feeling
man.
it.
I'm
Like
acting
Turk,
like a
stand
Buffalo
up.
fan. I'm I'm acting like
Like
a
yeah, he's a
Buffalo fan over here.
local. That's
Like,
my
yo,
like
listen,
he
Josh,
he went to school. He went to school near the crib.
Gabe Davis, man. You said, going back, Gabe Davis looked wonderful. Um, he didn't
Gabe
get as
Davis
many
did, just
targets as
not
I
like
thought
Diggs.
he did. He didn't get as many targets I thought he would, which I think goes up. I definitely, I think we
But
start looking at
I
Gabe
also
Davis getting 6, 7 targets a game, like consistently.
well, if you remember what I said preseason, my whole thing was I didn't think he was going to catch more than about 60 passes. I just thought
Right,
that he
right,
would get an immense level of yards from his passes. Like I
right,
never thought that he was going to be the
and
high
like
volume.
15 tutties.
So
Yeah,
6 targets is what I think you can expect from him. That's what I really like. If he ends up getting more of the 7, 8 range, then he is just going to have a monster year. But
that's what
what
I
I
think.
think is he's gonna go for like 20 yards a catch though. His catches
Yeah,
are going to be big plays
yeah,
consistently. So I think he's gonna go for 20 yards a catch. I think I predicted like 60 for 1,200 or somewhere in that range. I
yeah,
think
like
his
12,
touchdown numbers
15
are going to be
touchdowns.
huge though, and I still think his touchdown numbers are going to be huge.
I think so too. I
Diggs is
agree.
just that dude though. Diggs is that dude.
They're
Terp stand up.
they
I
are
was wrong.
going they're going to destroy some teams. They're going to have games this year where
They're going to destroy a
like
lot of teams. They just
they're
destroyed
gonna
the Super Bowl champs
they're gonna
in
come
their
out
house on
and
opening night.
Josh has a Josh has a 7 touchdown game in him this year. I see it coming. I think
If he
Josh has a
wants it.
game. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be like 5 passing, two
Wait.
rushing.
Talking about Bills, real quick. Shout out to Singletary. I thought he looked good the other night. Just throwing that
I
out
did
there,
too. I did too.
just as general
A
thought. I thought he looked good the other night.
lot of Zach Moss. More Zach Moss than I thought.
James Cook fumbled on his first touch. A lot of Zach
Yeah,
Moss because
yeah,
coaches are weird. Coach,
they
this is
are.
the ATM thing. You had an opportunity. You done fucked up. I'm gonna give it to the person I can trust.
Right. We're
That's
trying
what
to win
it
a Super
like. You
Bowl.
trust needs to be earned. Trust
We're
needs to
trying
be
to win a
earned.
Super
Like
Bowl. If you're not this guy, you're not gonna get us to the Super Bowl. You'll get a ring if we get there, but we're trying to figure this out now. That's the mission Buffalo's on, and I'm
as
cool
they
with
should
that.
be. Because look. Adding Von Miller to that defense and keeping
Oh, he looked
everything
incredible.
intact on offense. Von looked. Tre'Davious White ain't back yet. They're
Oh,
only
it's
going to
gonna get
get better
spooky.
in about four
It's gonna get
weeks.
it's gonna get spooky. It's
Like
already
they
spooky.
have one
It's
of
gonna
the
get
top,
spookier.
they have one of the 6 or 7 best cornerbacks in the league, and he ain't playing yet, and they already just dismantling the champs. Like
It's about to
that
get
was
ugly.
a bully job because they won like that despite what was it, 4 turnovers? Was it three or
Yeah,
four?
3 turnovers.
Like
No, well,
okay,
let's see.
what is it?
James Cook fumble, Josh 2 interceptions, so three.
Two. Okay, what happens when they play a clean game and when they don't have Aaron Donald to deal with on the offensive line? What's going to
They
happen?
score. They
Bills are
score
going to be
48 points.
scary. They are going to be scary. Like, how do I get Tyler Bass on my team? Man, I'm about to go trade for a kicker because he's going to get
They got
all the extra points. He's going to get
they've
all
got
of them.
Monday night prime time against a team that beat them last year in Tennessee. They're about to run Tennessee, dog. It's just a bully mission all year. They're about to go run Tennessee. I saw all I needed to do is Tennessee. Daniel Jones looked okay against Tennessee. This ain't that, bro. this ain't this ain't
Okay,
this is not
I
that.
had one thought watching the fourth quarter of Tennessee versus New York because I wasn't paying attention for the longest.
Right.
Watching the fourth quarter, my one thought is, y'all really didn't want to just pay AJ his money? Like,
Right.
He goes to
Right.
Philly. He looks amazing in Philly.
He looks
The
incredible.
Tennessee offense looks
That's the
bogged.
next.
Tennessee
That's the
offense looks
next big one
bogged
I was
down.
getting to.
You
AJ
don't
Brown. I
know.
was
You don't
wrong.
know who's. So man, I'm
I was
pretty sure
wrong.
I texted you on Sunday. Like I don't. I think it was like halftime, and I was like,
Yeah,
"We
we were
saw
wrong.
this wrong
We
as
were
hell."
wrong. We were wrong. Not. We didn't think he wouldn't be good. He's elite, bro.
I
He's
didn't
gonna
think.
be elite.
I didn't think. So the thing about it is, I've never considered AJ Brown an elite receiver. I just never did for whatever reason. The production was what it was, but I never thought of him in that class.
He
And
is.
I thought that though Tannehill is not very good, I thought that Hurts would be somewhat of a downgrade from a passing standpoint. Here's the thing: Hurts isn't a downgrade from the passing standpoint, but more importantly, in Philly, there's no Derrick Henry level monster. The monster is AJ Brown, so he's the person that they are going to make a point of getting the ball a lot.
He's gonna cook heavy,
And
bro.
any wide receiver that is that good, that gets that many targets,
It gets ugly.
hey, AJ Brown, AJ
He's
Brown,
up.
he's going to finish top 10.
Yeah.
He's going to finish
This
top
wide
10.
receiver. These wide receivers for sure are insane, bro. These wide receivers are
I'm a
nuts.
little, I don't, how do you feel about Debo? What do you
I
make of
don't
that San
like.
Fran game? Because
They
I don't
played.
like the
They
field.
played in
I,
a swimming pool. I'm not worried.
they played in a monsoon.
I'm not
They
terribly
played in a
worried yet.
monsoon.
I hate that they want to run the ball with him so much. I hate it. I understand for fantasy purposes it's good. I hate it. I hate it.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I hate that Garoppolo is still around. I but if
Debo's
Fields
ceiling is
loses on,
lower without Garoppolo to me. That's how I feel.
that's how I feel as well. The thing, the smart thing to do is give Trey the full season. That is the smart
Right.
thing to do. You took the third pick, you paid all that draft capital. San Fran was not supposed to lose to Chicago.
No. And they were up
If
double
San Fran
digits.
if San Fran falls to 0-2,
Uh, and Debo's not getting the rock. Uh, Kittle hurt. Maybe he's not back at. I don't know.
you got
I don't
Mitchell
know.
Hurt, and they're like, well, if our running game's not working, maybe we need the more seasoned quarterback.
Uh,
If Garoppolo takes the job back, and I'm not predicting he will, I feel a lot better about Debo than I do right this second. That's
I
all I'm
agree.
saying.
I agree. I don't love Debo's. I don't love Debo. Yes, they played in the monsoon. I completely understand,
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
I just don't love Debo with Lance. That's why I didn't have. I didn't. I don't know. I didn't talk about him much because I think he'll be fine. He's going to get rushing touchdowns. They matter just as much as everything else. I just don't. That ceiling is nowhere near where it was last year because Garoppolo, whatever you want to say about him, he knows how to get Debo the ball, and he knew how to get Debo the ball, and he got
He
Debo the
absolutely
ball.
did a
Um,
lot.
where do you stand on, a couple more wide receiver thing? Where do you stand on this Kansas City wide receiver thing? Now, Pat is locked in Pat. Do you like anyone more than the
I
other? MVS, four
I
targets,
like
four catches.
I like Juju. I like Juju more than MVS still.
Okay.
Um, I'm not sure that Juju is specific. I don't think that anybody's going to necessarily take over as the number one target beyond Kelsey. Like it's going to be Kelsey, and then receiver wise, I think it's going to be whoever's open. I
Right.
tend to think Juju is better at running routes, so I think he will be open plenty. I do think that Valdez Scantling is going to be the one that takes advantage of a lot of the as a bigger deep threat as the season goes on, and he
I
gets
agree.
more comfortable in that offense. Juju is the only one that I would feel comfortable with playing every week right now. It's a wait and see thing for MVS. Um, I don't know what to make of this Pacheco,
I like Isaiah.
the new number
I don't
10.
want
The new
any part of that running game. I'm not fooled by Clyde catching two touchdowns. I'm not fooled.
yeah,
He ain't
no, no,
gonna
no, no,
fool
no.
me.
But here's the thing. No, Clyde's not going to fool me, but I did like that he was getting more consistent usage in the offense. We'll see how that
Yeah,
goes. Um,
you ain't gonna fool me there.
Kansas City, it's going to be Kelsey. It's going to be a lot of Kelsey. Kelsey looked
A
good.
lot of
Kelsey looked
Kelsey.
better than he did at any point at the end of last year. So
He
I
did.
wonder if he had some sort of a knock that we were unaware of towards the end
I'm
of
sure he
last season
probably
because he didn't
did.
look nearly as efficient.
His usage
But
is nuts.
he
He
looked
probably
quite
gets
good.
banged up. Yeah, like his usage is nuts. He's probably banged up towards the end of the year. They play these long seasons because they're always really good. I saw everything I needed to see. Kansas City is going to be a disgustingly hard out because Pat is like now we can drop back and throw the ball to whoever I feel like throwing the ball to. It's not like all right, Tyreek's over there. I got to keep him happy because this or that or this or that. It's oh you open, I got you. Oh you're open here, I got you. Mecole Hardman touchdown. You know what I mean? You're gonna see MVS TDs. You're gonna see Juju TDs. You're gonna see Kelsey catch
Absolutely.
touchdowns. You're gonna see
Absolutely,
like
because Pat's about to throw for 50. Pat's throwing for
Pat.
50.
Pat might go.
Pat's throwing for 50.
Pat's throwing
Pat's
50
throwing for
touchdowns this
5K
year.
and 50. He's throwing for
Pat's
5K and
going
50.
nuts, bro.
I don't care.
Oh, Pat,
I don't care. Overreaction. Yes, I'm overreacting. Pat's that
you
dude.
are.
He
That's
done
all right.
reminded us that he is that
That's all
dude.
right. We are gonna see two of the most devastating quarterback seasons ever this year between Josh and Pat. Like
I
they're
agree with that
like
too. I
they're
agree
gonna
with that too.
devastate. Tight end, I don't like Kelsey is Kelsey. I'm not terribly worried about Mark Andrews. He'll get his. You know, I'm not. It was the Jets. They were up. They do some deep balls.
Something
They
did
got him there.
something did stand out to me.
Oh,
If you were in a deeper league, only in deeper
mhm.
leagues, the offense looked terrible. Hayden Hurst got a decent number of targets in
He
Cincy.
did.
Just it's not
He
something I'm going to
did.
hop on, but it is something that I'm going to watch for. I really thought that it would be, tight end's going to get 3, 4 targets. I want to say he got 7 or 8 the other day, which just seems
Yeah,
like a lot to me for Hayden
I
Hurst. So
see that.
it's not something that I'm necessarily on, but
Yeah,
I'm going
that
to
I
pay
see
attention. If
as yeah that I see as a 100% effect of T Higgins being out. That's
this
all I
is
chalk it
true,
up to. That's all I chalk
but
it up to. T Higgins
Boyd's
out.
to a point. I mean, Boyd's volume went up a bit more than you would expect as well, but I mean,
Yeah,
look, again, I'm not hopping on it. I'm just saying that it's something that bears watching.
it mattered.
The way that the position breaks down, if he's going to get 5 to 6 targets, he's worth having on a roster, whether that's your
Yeah,
roster or somebody else's. Any tight end that's getting 5 or 6 targets is worth
it
rostering because the
matters.
position is a wasteland. It's just a
It
wasteland.
matters.
So
It matters. Cole Komet with a zero. They played in the swimming pool, but with a
they
zero.
played in the monsoon, but I don't like it.
Not with a zero. Cole,
But
not zero.
but the thing is nobody in that passing game really produced as far as the people that you would actually have on
No.
your roster. It's not like Mooney did much either. So I am
Yeah.
willing to, with the
Still like
Chicago
Cole Komet.
offense, say let's see it within regular conditions before we make
Yep.
any grand proclamations.
I still
It
like Cole
wasn't
Komet.
ideal, but again, if you saw that weather on the pregame and you still
Stay away.
played a, a Bears pass catcher, that's on you. You deserve what you got. Like use common
Yeah.
sense. I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you. Use
Yeah. It's my
common
fault.
sense.
I thought
Pass
Komet
catchers in a
would
monsoon, not
Cole
ideal.
Komet. I thought would be fine because I figure if they're gonna throw short. They're gonna want to get the ball to somebody like that. Um, but it's fine. Chalk it up. I was
It's
high on
something that
Gerald
bears,
Everett.
but
I
it
like Gerald Everett.
but it's something
You
that
know,
bears. It's something that bears watching. It is something that
yeah,
bears watching.
0-0,
On tight
zero
end,
zero.
we gave the game away over the summer. Um,
Taysom, man.
I don't feel good about the volume, but you can't knock the fact that he did the random sort of productive stuff that we expect Taysom to do.
Did he get a
Um,
target?
I think he got one.
Come on, bro. You
I
see what I'm saying?
think
And he scored
I'm pretty
15
sure he got
fantasy
one.
points. I'm like, I know that
Yeah,
just if you see the
he's never been
weirdness,
that
I understand weirdness, bro. I understand. I should have just. I
so
don't know why
random.
I didn't follow.
Like
I didn't know why I
nobody
didn't
would
follow
think.
through on what I knew. Like I, you
Yeah, yeah,
know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying?
The other thing. You ain't gonna like this. Evan Ingram had a decent game.
Who? Who did?
Evan Ingram, he
What? All
looked
right. Tell me
decent.
what. How? What did Evan Ingram do? Let me know. You tell me. Guess who didn't check?
I don't got the
Guess who
stats in
didn't follow
front of
what he
me, but
did?
I'm
What do you
telling
know?
you, he had a
No, you
decent
brought it up.
game.
You brought it
He
up.
had,
What's a
he had a
decent game?
decent game.
What's a decent
He
Evan
had
Ingram
a
game?
decent game. He had a decent game,
What's a
baby.
decent
That's all
what's
I'm
a
saying. We
decent
can
Evan
move
Ingram
on.
game, bro?
We can
How'd
move
he look?
on. We can move
Did he
on.
drop anything?
I mean, again, it was like 8 games going on at once. I wasn't watching every play of any game.
Well then
Like there
don't
was
bring
just
the
too
nigga
much
up to
going
me,
on.
bro. Don't bring Evan fucking Ingram up to me right now. Like, what are you doing? What are you bringing Evan Ingram for? Giants are 1-0 without Evan Ingram because that's
Which
all
is
that he
why I
knows
brought
from
up
his
Evan
gut.
Ingram. Because you know what? Right
Yeah,
now, you a little too happy for me.
yeah.
My team
Don't worry about my
sucks. My
joy.
quarterback
They
hurt.
That's it.
My
You know
team
what I'm
sucks.
saying?
My
One
quarterback
and
hurt.
no.
Actually,
NFC
his
East
decent game
leading
wasn't
New
that
York
decent.
Giants. You know
He
what I'm
just
saying?
he just didn't drop the ball. He had 4 targets, 4 catches, only 28 yards. Never mind.
Man,
I
get the fuck
saw
off my
four catches that
get off my screen, bro. Lean to the other side, bro. 28 yards. Fuck out of here, bro. Put him on punt return duty. Fuck that Ray Ingram. Like, you know what I'm saying? He had 28 yards. You say, oh, he had a decent game. Fuck out of here. He had 28 more yards than I did. Get that shit out of
Hey, hey,
here,
hey.
bro.
In that exact same league, had I simply played Evan Ingram instead of my actual tight end, I win instead
Yeah.
of losing last night. So
This
by
game
those
sucks.
standards, he did have a
This is the
decent game.
this is the dumbest game we ever played, and now we're doing a podcast on it. We're just we like pain, bro. That's all we do. We're masochists. We're against. Beat us up. That's what we enjoy doing. Now we're gonna sit here and talk about it, and now we're gonna get into waivers real quick before we let y'all dip. I don't. Here's okay. I'm about to sound angry, and I gotta let it on out. I walked in saying, "Yo, watch out for Devin Duvernay." I picked him up. I decided I like Nico Kai. Trust your judgment, bro. I'm smarter than a lot of y'all, and I don't look like it sometimes. I hate when I'm smarter than y'all, and then I make myself look stupid. I had Duvernay. I
Real,
like Duvernay. I'm probably gonna get outbid for him now because I'm not going
real quick,
stupid, and now I'm gonna lose
real
Duvernay.
quick.
Hold on, man. Hold on. The pain ain't out
No,
yet.
no, 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 no,
Now I'm
no, no,
sitting
no,
here.
no, no,
I
no,
got my
no,
man
no, no,
Nico
no.
here.
Wait, wait,
It's
wait,
cool.
wait. You need
Like
to
I get
tell
it,
people
bro.
why you will not overbid for him. You need to explain why you will be so cautious about your bidding.
Why
What
we
was
bringing up
homeboy's
old
name
shit?
last year?
If we want to bring up old things, we can bring up whatever old. We can bring up all
All
the
right,
pain that
all
you
right, all
want.
right, all right, all
Mike
right. I'm
Boone.
chilling.
We
I'm
can bring
chilling.
up Mike Boone if you want to bring up
We
Mike
talk about
Boone.
we talk about Diggs all we talk about Diggs all the time, and
We
my
did.
inherent
We
bias.
didn't. Right.
Okay,
That's
no, no, no.
now. That's
Here's
why
the
you
thing.
hate. Now I get it. That's why
That's
Diggs.
you see it, yeah. You see it. You get it. Like it's not for no reason. I got real trauma I'm dealing with, man. That
You
shit
got
hurt.
Diggs. You had Diggs at like 8 because he hurt you 3 years. Yo, you didn't rank Stephon Diggs at 5 because you didn't play him 3 years ago, and now you refuse to say that he's gonna eat with Josh Allen because you just don't want to give that man the credit of why I hate this game so much, yo. This game is the
Now
worst
you
game
see it.
ever, yo. I do. I didn't see
Now
it
you
till
see
just
it.
right now,
Now
and
you
I
see
can't
it.
stop laughing. You gotta leave. I Diggs broke you to the point where you won't even rank him properly, yo. You won't, yo, Gabe Davis, 31 touchdowns coming. Diggs ain't it because he didn't. That's
Oh Jesus.
yo. I didn't see it till just now. What is wrong with you?
Okay.
what,
I
what is
remember the
wrong
hurt
with
too
you,
bad.
bro?
I remember the losses way too well. That's
Oh
all.
my god, that's
As
why
far
Diggs
as
isn't higher.
as far as
Oh, I'm
waivers go,
crying.
like all jokes aside,
Oh
as far as waivers
shit.
go, the Duvernay thing, it's
Uh,
interesting.
it's not going to be
Uh,
that sustainable, but I
I
think
don't.
he's going to
No, no, no,
be
no. I think
productive
he's
in a
going to be
deeper
solid.
league.
I
Yeah,
think he's going
I
to be
do.
solid. At wide receiver, the guy that's interesting is your guy. That's the guy who's most interesting to me. Now, to be fair, we play in a lot of
Shep?
deeper leagues, so there are yes, Shep.
Okay.
There are a lot of more shallow leagues where you're going to have calibers of players that we're not normally seeing on waivers.
Hmm.
Like I have a couple more shallow leagues where I look at waivers and I'm just like, wait, Like I got a league where Drake London is on waivers. I'm just like,
How's that
how's
happening?
that happen?
Right,
Like how? Why? But
right.
whatever. Um, Shepard, if he's healthy, he figures to be the guy that's going to get the most targets in that offense.
I agree.
So that's an interesting pickup. But understand how long is he going to be healthy? That's just part of the program with Shepard.
It is.
Um, ultimately, the most interesting guy to me is Wilson, but I don't trust it.
It's hard to trust it,
Rex
man.
Burkhead, Rex Burkhead is quite interesting too because he
He
did get a
is.
really good workload in
He is.
Houston, and
And they trust him.
if he's going to be getting 50-60% of the touches, he's worth being on a roster. Now, if ultimately it leads where Pierce ends up being the lead guy and he's getting 60-70% of the touches, no, I don't want 30% of the touches from running back on the
Right.
Texans.
Week to week, though.
He is worth a
Get
claim,
Burkhead until they figure it
especially
out.
if you can. If you have the roster space, I would be very big on trying to go get him. Um, some years you'll come off of week one and you'll just have people where it's like, I want that guy. Like last year, it may have been week one or week two when Elijah Mitchell started to look really good. Last year, it was after week two that Cordero Patterson
Quarter
really
of passing.
came
Yeah.
on. I was smart enough to grab him after week one everywhere. You remember
Right.
this? I was proud as hell
Right.
because I was just like,
Right.
you got to trust what you see.
I saw it.
Daryl
Yeah.
Henderson obviously is not a waiver type of player. If you are
Unless you're in
looking
the
to make
shallower
trades this
league.
week,
Unless you're in a 10 team, maybe a 12
if
team
you're in a
league, he'll be out
it,
there.
even then, I look. I got a homegirl who was asking me about stuff on Sunday morning. She needed to pick up somebody, and Michael Carter from the Jets was there, and I had her pick him up and plug him right into her lineup. I'm not sure
Weird.
what. I said this all summer. I don't know why everybody assumed that Brees was going to get so much more work than Carter.
Michael Carter's just as
I'm
good as
sure
Brees Hall
Brees
to
is
me.
going to get. He's the other thing is he's only a year older. They were both second round picks. It's not like the investment was vastly different. They're going to let this play out and let the best man win. Ultimately, I think that is going to be a timeshare.
Right.
My whole thing was I wasn't particularly high on either of them, but Michael Carter looked really good this weekend. So if he is out
He
there in
did.
your league, I would be all for it. Um, Short term wise, if you are in a more shallow league, Tyler Boyd will be interesting if T. Higgins misses time. That's the thing.
It
If T.
sounds like
Higgins is going to be
Higgins
playing
should be
this
back.
week,
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like Higgins should be back. I still like Boyd if you're in a deeper league, a deep 12 team or 14 team league, something like that. I still like
to
Boyd
a
because
point,
they're going to throw
to
the
a point,
ball a lot. I think he's fine
to
to
a
put
point.
out there if you don't have anyone else. Um, I do think that if Wandale Robinson comes back, like one of those deeper type things, the Giants spend a lot of draft capital on him, and they want to get him the ball. It's something that
So
all throughout
here's my
camp,
thing.
all throughout everything, they want to
You're
get him the ball.
you're a oh I don't know if you see the question down there.
I
But
do, I do.
if the
Josh,
Giants,
let's start
if
here
you want
real quick
Dobson
before we come
looked
in
good.
here. I think
Dobson
Dotson's
looked
going to be
good.
excellent. I think he
I think he's going to be very, very good. Absolutely. He is. All of my leagues are infested with commendatory fans, so he is not available in any of my man
yeah,
leagues.
yeah.
But I checked the percentages. He is available in lots of leagues. I would make him one of my priorities.
Yes.
By mid-season, he very well could be a wide receiver three type. So
Yeah.
grab him if you have that option of grabbing him. Go ahead and do so. I think he looked absolutely wonderful this week. There was nothing that looked fluke about it. That's what you want to see. Is like
No.
sometimes
No.
people put up a numbers and you think, that
No.
doesn't look like something he can repeat. No, no,
They
no.
game
It looked
plan
like
for
something
this.
he could repeat.
They game plan to get him the
He looked
ball. Let's get
very, very
Dotson
good.
the ball. But back what you're
Wait,
saying about the
speaking of
Giants.
Washington, Curtis Samuel looked all right. For what it's
No,
worth, if you're in a
I'm
deeper
not
league,
falling for the banana
if
and the
you're
tail
in a
part.
deeper league, I could say the same thing about Sterling Shepard. Actually, Shep's been more consistent. That's not fair.
Shep has
That's
been
not
more
fair.
consistent.
That,
Shep is
that's
all injury related.
Shep's been more consistent. No, no, no. You're
Hmm.
right. You're right. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. But as far as the Giants, Kadarius Tony, is he just
Hmm.
a pay no mind? Is that where we are with him? Like he was
I
just
don't
chosen in
think
the first
so.
round last year. He played
I, I,
7 snaps.
I don't
Seven
think so.
snaps.
There, he
7.
he was hurt throughout the entire offseason. Coming up through. Maybe they're trying to work him back into being okay.
You're
This
a
is
Giants fan.
why.
I'm not, so I'm gonna take your
This
word
is
on this.
yeah. I mean, Tony, if he is healthy, if he's back, I think Tony and Wandale are going to be really important for this offense because they're gonna get them a
Well,
lot of things around
Tony's
the line of
available.
scrimmage here. Tony is available,
Tony's
and
available in a
Tony
lot of places.
he is.
I don't know how I feel
So
about making a claim for him, but he's probably more interesting than
he
most
is.
anybody you're going to find. Um, but I don't
He is.
necessarily think you can get anything out of it. So it's really it's a boom or bust. Maybe you pick him up and in a few weeks he's worth something and he's playing for you. Maybe you pick him
Yeah.
up and in a few weeks you're dropping him back because he hasn't done anything. I don't know what to make of
Right.
it, but he's available in a lot of leagues. He's an interesting player. He's immensely talented.
He is.
And more to the point, if Saquon is what he looks like, which is an elite running back again, it is going to open things up for those pass catchers,
For a
except
lot
Kenny
of them.
Galladay because he sucks. Except Kenny Galladay.
Galladay.
I dislike that dude the same way you do Evan Ingram. I'm just not going to go on a rant about him, but I really, really dislike that dude.
Gall-
Also,
Galladay
because of the
doesn't look
game,
like he
nothing
wants to play
personal.
football. He doesn't look
I
like he
don't think
wants to
he
play football,
does.
bro. He doesn't look like he wants
He
to
got his
play.
check. He got his check. He got
It's
his
it's
check, and he
it's insane how
like
much it looks like he doesn't want to play football. And this is why a guy like Wandale and Tony I think will be fine. Like Slayton's no longer going to be a big part of this offense here.
didn't they move him down to like fourth string or something?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Like
Slayton's
we've
like
got a bunch of
way down
guys.
there.
I don't, this the giant receivers. You just pick a guy. I've said Wandale's name a bunch. If he's healthy, I think they're going to want to get him the ball a bunch. They're going to want to run the ball with him. They're going to want to get him to some wide receiver screens. A lot of what you saw with Richie, if you watch the game, Richie James got a lot of targets there. A lot of that's going to be Wandale. They want to get this kid the ball. They took him high second round because they have a vision for him.
They have a
He just
plan.
has to be on
Yeah,
the
they have
field.
a plan for him.
He has to be on the field. Another waiver, if you're looking at it, if he's on your waivers, it might be interesting to see what you can do. Maybe you look at Zay Jones in Jacksonville because everything that Christian Kirk, the
It
number two
looked
out there,
interesting. It looked interesting
it
this week.
did look interesting. If you want to see what's going on there, Zay Jones, that's going to be interesting. This
That's fine.
question, the ball to Samuel, are we
Curtis
talking
Samuel
about
got the ball a
Debo
lot.
or Curtis? I'm
I'm
assuming you're
pretty sure
talking
he's
about
talking to
Curtis.
Curtis,
I didn't see how many
who
carries
got the
Curtis
ball.
Samuel got.
I mean, he only had a handful. He only had 4 rushes. So the
That's
big thing
enough,
was he
though.
got
You know
11.
what?
He got 11 targets. Ace. Like that's the thing with Curtis Samuel.
That's a
11
lot of
targets
targets,
is
man.
nothing to sneeze at. And we
That's a
know how
ton of
Carson Wentz
targets,
is.
bro.
He chooses his 2 or 3 guys, and he just gets them the ball constantly. It's very possible
Interesting.
Samuel's going to be one of those guys. However, it's also very possible he's going to be hurt next week because that's kind of what it's always been with Curtis Samuel. So
That's very interesting. That
if
is
he's
interesting.
available in your league,
Pick a flyer.
he's worth a claim. He's absolutely worth a claim. I'm not going to get overly excited yet, but he's worth a claim early. But
I
unlike
agree.
some years in the past, there's nobody just sitting on the waivers after week 1 that I'm like, I gotta have him if I can pull it off in any circumstances. I don't see that guy at this moment. Um, but somebody's going to be that guy. It's just a matter of do you throw the right dart? Somebody that is
Right.
on waivers in your league is going to flip your league. Just a matter of are you going to get him or somebody else?
Are you going to get them? Nothing sticks out yet, but if you see something that you trust, just go after it. Um, I think that's all I got. And we'll be back Thursday. We got Thursday. We'll do a full
One more
preview.
thing. One more thing.
What's up?
One more thing. Down on the Cowboys across the board. All of them.
Oh, I meant to ask you
All of
about
them.
CD. How far is CD
All
down?
of them. Low end wide receiver 2 for now.
Low end wide receiver two. Zeke, you're still around that same area. Wide receiver, running back
Low,
20.
but yeah, but that's 15 to 12. The thing is, I think Zeke is going to get a healthy dose of carries. I
Okay.
just don't think they're going to score a lot. So it's going to be a lot of 82 yards and hope he got some passing work to get you to 13,
Right.
14 points. I don't think
Fall
that
into the
ceiling
end
is
zone
there.
every other game or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Like he's going to be fine as a running back too. I wouldn't want him as anything beyond a running back too. He's probably the one I trust most of this. Schultz is going to be fine too. I think Schultz is going to be absolutely fine. But CD,
Mm-hmm.
I am very, very down on
If
CD.
CD
The
drops,
idea of
I
playing
am. Yeah.
the idea of Pollard at flex, I'm very down on that as well.
Yep.
Michael
I'm
Gallup
out on
coming back from
Pollard.
injury, I think has
Out on
absolutely no
Gallup.
value until that gets back.
I had a sleeper, Jalen Tolbert. He is put him at the very. I don't want to see him near
Wait.
any kind of lineup
Let
I'm
me
in.
just put this. Let me just no. Let me just say this for Tolbert.
Okay.
On Sunday, Dallas started an undrafted rookie at wide receiver. Jalen Tolbert was a third round pick in the same draft, and he was not even active for the game. He is on a pay no mind list. That says everything. He was
Right.
not active in a
Right.
game where they were starting a undrafted rookie wide receiver.
That's
You
all I
don't
need to
need to
see.
worry about Jalen Tolbert. Yeah, you don't need to worry about him.
That's all I need to see.
That's a name for
He's
next
done
year.
there.
That's a name for next year. That's a name for next year.
Right. Yep. He's done there. But that's it. That's all. Waivers. Not a ton sticking out on waivers yet. Obviously we'll be here week to week. If you see a guy, go get him. Good luck on your waivers. Waivers clear tomorrow. So the work never stops, man. We'll be back Thursday with a full breakdown
The game
preview.
has just begun.
The
The
game has
game's
just
just
begun.
begun.
It's week
Yeah.
one, man. It's
Yeah.
week one. It's week
Don't
one.
panic. It's a
Couple
long
trades
season.
in. Shout out to the trades I got in already. I appreciate, building
You don't
juggernauts
have to
early.
say every trade. Just if you feel something and you feel confident about it, stand
Make
on
it
it.
happen.
Like
You
nothing
hate
feels
Allen
worse
Robinson,
than when
bro.
you panic.
That's what comes out of this. Your hate of Allen
I'm
Robinson
out.
sticks out to me heavy.
I'm out.
You're fully out.
I'm
Okay.
he he. Here's the thing. He looked bad.
Okay.
It's not the numbers. He looked bad.
Bad.
He did not look like a
Yep.
good wide receiver.
Okay. Yeah.
I can deal with bad numbers. He looked like a bad player.
He looked bad. We right back on Thursday, man. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us.
Hey,
Obviously, listen, man, the game never stops, and we're not gonna stop giving it to
game don't
you. We
stop.
appreciate everything.
Hey,
Games suck. Listen, Stefan Diggs, man. If you ever watch this, you're only ranked low because you.
hey, Terps, baby. Terps, baby.
What up, Diggs?
Hey, all right. Be out.
We out of here, man. We appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe. We right back like we left something. This game sucks, man, but we're gonna give it to you anyway.